Hello, 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 everybody. This is Irina Strunina, and this is our weekly podcast, Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360. This is where I go live and speak with my guests, and usually my guests are healthcare professionals, people who are working on a daily basis with those who have been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and not necessarily they are the direct contact. Not everybody is endocrinologist, but unfortunately with the spread of diabetes right now around the globe, pretty much any healthcare professional is working with somebody with diabetes. Not everybody, though, is agreeing to meet with me here in this podcast. So today I have those two doctors, Dr. Z and Maria. She's nurse, but they are in their collaboration working very often with people who have diabetes, educating them, helping them. And I am so glad that we were able to find time when all three of us can meet together and have this conversation. So welcome, Dr. Z, welcome, Maria. Glad to have you here. And I would like to start with Dr. Z. Introduce yourself. Um, we know each other for like 4 years already. So uh, talk about your work and then introduce Maria, and Maria will have chance to speak for herself as well.
Hi everyone. I am Dr. Z or Zainul Khan, hailing from beautiful Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. What do I do? I'm actually a sports and exercise medicine and public health doctor, and have recognized that diabetes is a massive pandemic that's related to obesity, right? And what do they call it nowadays? There's a new name for it called diabesity.
Uh-huh.
Right? And a few years ago, I started off going, what can I do to help to change this trend? Shift it in a more positive direction and help people. I didn't like the idea of the overwhelming medication we were tossing at people and expecting to have results. Yeah, it was doing okay, but it wasn't the thing that I think was going to be most beneficial. So I launched into building my first course, which was helping diabetics to reduce their blood sugar and achieve a healthier weight. And that launched me into the spectrum from my public health training of trying to help as many people as possible to take control of their diabetes with little to no medication. All they're using is all natural things: exercise, nutrition, lifestyle management, and of course, stress and helping to improve sleep, right?
Yes.
And that led me to encounter Maria. And Maria, when in the hospital, we both work in the same hospital. And I was running the course for our hospital staff. And Maria was one of our clients, one of my clients, and had an amazing transformation. While doing the weight loss course, I realized it ended up going from a diabetes course to a weight loss course because the impact of it was everybody lost weight. So I was like, you know what? People who are overweight or obese are pre-diabetic, especially if they're obese, they're pre-diabetic. That's diagnostic of pre-diabetes. So I went, you know what? I'm going to try to help as many as I can. And that transition to today, Maria approaching us and we starting to work specifically. And it doesn't mean that we were limited to women, but women going through menopause because realize that menopause can trigger diabetes because of that change in estrogen and progesterone. And women struggle with weight and the overwhelm and the hot flashes. So Maria's like, look, I'm an expert. Let's combine our superpowers and create something that can help women navigate menopause, something that's not very loudly spoken about in the world. And there's lots of information coming out now. There's some research, but now we're in the realm of not only just helping with diabetes and weight loss, but helping you transition through the menopause change with all the grace that you deserve. So that's me in a coconut shell.
All right. So, Maria, the mic is yours. Please introduce yourself and tell us why you're doing what you are doing, why you are in the medical field, and how often
Okay.
do you work with people with diabetes?
Okay. So my name is Maria Nurse Joseph. I am a registered nurse, a licensed midwife, a sexual health and family planning nurse with more than 21 years experience in this field. I started to do this. We came together, a meeting of the minds, Dr. Khan and myself, because I saw the impact that my weight loss had on my general health.
Mm-hmm.
And I meet women on a daily basis because I do a lot of pap smears, breast exams. We do a lot of colposcopies, everything women, family planning and things like that. And a lot of women already have the onset of diabetes. Also, as a midwife, I've met a lot of women, even in pregnancy, they have gestational diabetes. And we know if that left unchecked, it will be full blown,
Mm-hmm.
right? So many of these women come to me and I realize it is a real big struggle because when you reach at this stage of menopause, you have all those symptoms compounded with the issues of diabetes. And that's the time when you get all this fat around your tummy, the hot flashes, the night sweat, you're going through a whole big storm. And so many patients came to me, nurse, please help me. I don't know what to do. I've been going to the doctors and apparently nobody's taking me serious. And it is really a really strenuous, frustrating time for women. So I decided that, if that had such an impact on me, what about the women that need the help that I'm dealing with on a regular basis? So I joined up with Dr. Khan and here we are. We do programs online, named the Healthy Reset, and we try to do a program on a Tuesday, every Tuesday, to help women get through the storm that is called menopause
All right. This every Tuesday, you do it online or you do it in your hospital setting?
online.
All right. Okay. So you have the program that's running.
So to be clear, what we've been doing is we have the live event that happens in Zoom, and we're
Mm-hmm.
working on getting a sign up page so people can sign up and join us so we can share when we have new updates.
Mm-hmm.
But then during that week, we will upload it to our YouTube channel, which is right behind my head, right?
Yes.
And so you can go on the channel and look at all the things we talk about. And so you have access to everything. And we're doing some transitioning in the next few weeks of our channel and our pages. And so go on YouTube and you'll see all our updates and subscribe. We're always happy to help.
Yes, same thing. So everybody, please. So you see there's YouTube channel where to subscribe. Same thing applies to me. And I always am saying that sharing is caring. So if you maybe you are ran across this video by accident and for whatever reason you did stay up until this moment, and at this moment you realize that maybe this doesn't apply to you, but you know exactly the person or two or five who may benefit from this knowledge. Share with them and allow them to investigate those two YouTube channels. On mine, obviously, all the conversations we have, they are around the diabetes. In the YouTube channel that Dr. Z and Maria have, they have a little bit different focus, but unfortunately, diabetes is so closely related and kind of like goes hand in hand with this that we got to pay attention to it. Even people who were always um, not concerned about being diagnosed with diabetes, even they finding that the at this time, at the period when they have this hormonal change, they all of a sudden have the symptoms and they all of a sudden have the diagnosis, at least the prediabetes. So let me ask you this question, and I don't know who will answer it. So the patient comes to your hospital, clinic, whatever setting you have, and they come with the menopausal questions. They have some changes and they want to get control. You run the blood work and you learn along the different deficits that they might have, that they also have the diabetes. What would be your recommendation for clients that you have, women in this case, if when they find out that not just menopausal part, but they also have diabetes to worry about? What would be your first thing to recommend them to do?
I have a lot of women that come in with not just diabetes, other issues, and most of them generally are already, the way our system is set up, are already in some type of clinic.
Mm-hmm.
So what I generally do is work along with what they are going through with diabetes and introduce them to a more healthy lifestyle along with what they're doing, supplementing. We emphasize things like a better sleep during the course of the night, because if you're not sleeping well, everything goes haywire. So,
Yes.
and that cortisol will raise the high inflammation will raise, and it will impact again on the diabetes. So the importance of stress management, a healthy lifestyle, keeping up with their doctor's visits, making sure that they keep these things in focus, and general well-being of the person, along with with the menopausal symptoms. So it's like a marriage of the two.
Yes. All right, Dr. Z, do you have anything to add?
Sorry, 1 second. In my case, I start to go a little deeper. So I start to look at things of what we call lifestyle changes. I know that's a trigger word for people. It's just so commonly used. What I mean by that is simple. What's your nutrition like? Are you implementing good nutritional values, like fruits and vegetables in your meal? Are you cutting back on your carbohydrates, specifically carbohydrates? I don't focus on anything else, right? I don't need you to cut back on your fats, on your proteins. What I want you to focus on is your carbohydrates, because your carbohydrates is what's causing your blood sugar to spike. But it's not just that alone. It's a whole bunch of nutritional habits that you have that you don't know you have because you've been doing them so long, and how to identify them and then start switching them to healthier habits. Right? Now, like for instance, like the time you eat, are you having structured meals at specific times in a day? Are you using things like appetizers, right, before meals to decrease your hunger levels? Are you cutting back on the amount of carbs in your meal? So you should be eating no more than 30% carbs per meal. And then the other thing is, we're in a world today where food is so readily available. Everywhere we turn, there's food, right? So it's easy to overeat. It's easy to always be hungry and always snacking. So cutting back on your snacking and then choosing whole, healthy foods over highly processed foods. And a lot of people don't realize just the stuff you buy in the grocery store is highly processed, and you're putting those chemicals in your body. So I help you to reduce all of those things over a space of time. So our rebellious brains, and yes, we all have rebellious brains. Our brains are always telling us, we like where we are. So I turn around and I say, okay, instead of dealing with your rebellious brain, let's train it to rebel against the carbohydrates and not against the healthy foods. And over time, we retrain your brain to start accepting this new style of you, and you love you when you go there. Like just this week, one of our clients came to us and told us she lost 32 pounds in the last 6 months, right? And she is so excited. She says her knees aren't hurting as much. She feels better. Her skin is clearer. And she was just super excited to keep working. So those are some of the changes. And then exercise. Everybody needs exercise, even if you think you're allergic to exercise. And I've heard that before. I'm allergic to exercise. Right? And it's true. Some people just don't want to exercise. So then we work together and come up with something you can do that allows your heart rate to go up, which is what exercise is, getting your heart rate up for 30 minutes, right? and allowing you to the benefit from exercise without thinking of it as exercise. So those two little things, huge differences.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, well, you said so many interesting things. I have several follow-up questions for that. But how do you how do you train? What is the your mind? How do you train the mind to think that what you don't like, you actually like? How do you do that? What is the process?
So I'll go first on this one. First off, you don't want to think of it as like and dislike. So I always start off with people and I tell them, eat things that you like. Like, for instance, I don't like lettuce, right? If I eat a burger, and I love burgers, right? I will remove the lettuce faster than anything. But I love cabbage and I love cucumbers. So instead of using lettuce, I use cabbage or cucumbers. And much better meal because I like those. And what you're doing is basically first you start off with things you like and things you want to try. And then you start to slowly introduce those into every meal over a period of time. And what most people don't realize, these are habits you're trying to change. And it takes 66 days to a year to change any habit. And
So not 21 day.
No, 66 days to a year to change it. Right? And if you look at it, so most people, it takes up to a year, right? Consistently repeating the same thing all the time. And once you change that habit, then you don't go back to the old habits. So when me and Maria work with people, we don't work with you for just a few weeks. We want you to work with us for at least a minimum of 6 months, simply because we know that you have habits we need to work on.
Yes.
So we're not gonna force your brain. I always tell people, if you push against somebody, what do? You push back. Right? That's your brain. But if you hold your hand and you walk with them, what do they? Walk along with you.
Yes.
We walk along with you.
All right. Maria, what will you add to this? In terms, what is approach, how you help people to change their habits, to change their way how they look at different activities or different foods? What will be your suggestion?
What I tell a lot of women, everything starts in the brain, right?
Okay.
You have to think what benefits you want for your life at this stage of life. And you need to talk to yourself and realize that everything that you put in your body particularly at this time, has a positive and a negative effect on your health. So you have to talk to yourself to realize, this is where it is, where I am, and I need to really take this seriously, because it doesn't make sense that you make all these sacrifices, you're changing your diet and all of that, but only thinking short term. So you need to think long term. Where would I be in the next 4 years, 10 years, if I continue on the same page that I am? So I went through this program with Dr. Khan, and I'm still doing it again over. What he does, he introduces things very slowly. So every week you have goals to meet. You have short-term goals, you have medium-term, and you have long-term goals. And as you reach the goals, you tick the box and you move on. So everything is not thrown at you at the same time.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Oh, look at this. Look how proud he is.
He's standing up proud there.
Okay, so I have a question, and the reason I have this question is because I used to work with someone from Trinidad, and she used to be my boss, and for 5 years we worked together, and I used to be a cooking coach. So she is an amazing chef, and she taught me a bunch of different recipes that are very common, or not that very common, but she learned in Trinidad. So I know that rice is one of the staples on the table. How do you help people to I don't know, to have less rice, because this is something that in some recipes it got to be there. Otherwise, the recipe will not work.
Well, as I said earlier, we want to get 30% carbohydrates in our food, right? And when you're dealing with rice, rice is a simple carb. It's a simple to complex carb. It also depends on where you get your rice from.
Mm,
So, like in the Caribbean and in Asia, the rice isn't highly processed. It goes through a very simple process, it's packaged and sent to us. So we
okay.
have very healthy rice, right? And then we have things like one of our local rice is called the Moruga brown rice, a very,
Mhm.
very healthy brand of rice. A little bit more expensive, but very healthy, full of flavor.
Uh-huh.
So first thing is put 30% of the carbohydrates as the rice.
Mm-hmm.
And the 70% of the food is your vegetables, your fruits, your proteins, and your fats,
Mm-hmm.
right? And don't worry about the rest, right? So yes, you're getting your rice. And I come from a country, I'm originally from Guyana in South America. Our staple throughout my life was rice. We eat rice every day, right? But we don't have to have a lot of it. So I would have a meal with rice, but it was only 30% of the meal was rice, and the rest of it was other things like vegetables, like you'd get pumpkin or or kale or bhaji, as we call it in the Caribbean, right? And then you have your meat or your dal, which is basically like a pea soup, right?
Uh-huh.
Um, and the rice, yes, it was there, but it wasn't a major part. So first off, cut it down to 30%, right? So you don't have to cut it out completely, just replace it, right? So instead, in a case like that, you use, okay, I want to have something that looks like rice. So you get cauliflower. It looks like rice, why not substitute it? And it tastes just as good. So
Okay.
that's one way.
Okay. So Maria, do you have the female secrets about this? So how the cooking, the kitchen related secrets on rice and other carbs, simple carbs? Oh,
What I can say is it is about a lifestyle change. So it's about exchanging. For example, if you're accustomed making parboiled rice,
mm-hmm.
what I use is the Uncle Ben's brown rice or the
Uh-huh.
Maruga brown rice. And we he has a way that he had introduced with us. We use our hands as a way of measuring the amount of rice, different methods, very ingenious, just using your hand. So you will
Uh-huh.
know your portion sizes, and you can have the things you like, but not overdoing on the bad stuff. So brown rice instead of white rice, instead of milk chocolate, you're using the dark chocolate. So you're just exchanging the unhealthy for the healthy, and you're eating sensibly. So you're not feeling like you're deprived, or you're going on this, like you're feeling like you're going crazy, and I wouldn't be able to eat the foods. Yeah, you would be able to eat a lot of the foods you like, but the healthier version,
Okay. Yes.
Yeah,
right?
I have a story about that. I just encountered a lady yesterday whose diabetes wasn't under control. And the reason she said she went to the nutritionist and they gave her some paperwork of what she needed to do. And
Okay.
she says within 2 weeks, she felt like she was starving,
Uh-huh.
right? That she couldn't get enough food in her. And then she just gave up on it,
Yes.
right? And with our system, it's not to get you to the point of starving, but to retrain your body to take in less calories. So you're not in that calorie surplus that you're constantly on. And now you're a little bit of a deficit. Don't worry, you have the stores, you have the energy, it's there in your fat, right? So you're not missing anything. And then you end up eating less, and therefore you stop having this surplus of sugar that
Yes.
becomes fat and becomes a detriment for diabetes.
Yes, yes. Well, this is the biggest challenge that I see in our Facebook group. People are talking about that once they got diagnosed, they got their recommendations, and it's for them very often it's not sustainable because it's really hard stop on something and or take it away without replacing it with substitute, and it's hard to do. Well, Can I
Yeah.
ask you this question? And this is not maybe specifically in your area of expertise, but maybe you could answer this. Very often in our Facebook group, Diabetes 101 for Beginners, people read the posts, they read the success stories from other people, they look at the charts and recommendations and everything, and they realize that uh, this is not what they want to have. This is something they say, "Do I need ideas for breakfast, but keep in mind, I don't eat eggs, I don't like vegetables, and things like that." How do you speak with people who have this particular way of approaching what they eat? Who will
Maria?
take it? Maria?
Okay. Okay, it's me. Okay, I thought, okay. One of the things Dr. Khan did with his in his program is he tried to let you know the foods that you like, because the foods that I like may not be the foods that you like,
Uh-huh.
right? And the foods that you like, you will be able to tolerate,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when you eat the foods you like, it's like what he does with exercising as well, because that is part of the program. He lets you go and see what exercises you like. If you don't like walking, you can try swimming. If you don't like swimming, you can try boxing. And it's the same thing with the foods. And we try to eat foods as well, and foods that are in season, because we are a tropical country. There are
Yeah.
times we have certain foods plentiful and certain as not as much, and then there are those foods too that we import, which are the more expensive. So in order to make it doable as well, we try to eat the foods that are in season. And
That's
there must be something you like. There must be something that you like there.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, food in season is such a great reminder because if this is in season and where in the area where you live, it means that food gets from, like if we're talking about fruits and vegetables, from the field to your table,
Yes.
it's the shortest way. In this way, it has less time to lose the nutrients and dry out and all this, so you get all the juices, all the important vitamins without loss, and it's fresh and it was not preserved. So this is something that I always invite people to consider, that
Yes.
yeah, look what is in season in your area.
So on that one, I want to get real about something also, right?
Mhm.
When you're talking about food you like, and I don't want to give up this and I don't want to give up that, right? You got to understand, if you're diabetic, you're obese, you're overweight, and you're eating a lot of highly processed foods like fast foods, right? I'm not going to name any of them. There's tons of them out there. You pass them every day, right? And they're all over your shelves. If you're eating these sugary or drinking these sugary drinks, and you're getting the big gulp or the not a big gulp, or that's one of the stores not branded name, but you're getting these extra large drinks and the extra fries and the extra this and everything is supersized.
Yes.
You're doing yourself a disfavor, right? Those things are contributing chemicals to your body that are gonna disrupt your pancreas and make your diabetes worse.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, I gotta say, you gotta cut those out, right? There's no two ways around that, right? If you want to try to take control, you want to stop taking all that medication, you want to avoid things like taking an insulin shot, right? You have to take the leap and say, I'm going to cut these out, right? And there are lots of fun, healthy ways you can eat and still be able to enjoy things like a burger that you made or
Mm.
somebody else made that's a nice and healthy burger that still conveys that level of enjoyment to you, right? So I always tell people our program is not an instant gratification program. People come and ask me, how fast can I get to this? And I'm like, no, if you're going to do that, don't take it. We don't want your money. We don't want you to join.
Mm-hmm.
You take your time and you go find the instant gratifications, go take the medications or whatever, and let it work for you that way. But if you're willing to work and you're willing to say, hey, I want to make that change. And I had a lady come in here, the same lady, right? She was all gung-ho to take my program, to take the program. We're starting it in a week's time, right? And then suddenly I get a message that evening saying, hey, I need to think about it some more. In other words, she was happy to hear about it. She wanted to make the change, and all of a sudden, she thought about it for a second, but she doesn't want to do the work. And I'm like, okay, no problem there. Sorry, I just got zoomed in.
We noticed.
So it's up to you if you want to make that change, if you want to see that results, and if you're willing to give up certain things for a little while, right? And I gotta say, all the highly processed foods are a no-no forever, right? They provide no nutritional value whatsoever. I'm sure you hear they're always saying all carbs are not the same.
Yes.
Right? That's true. And those carbs are horrible for you. Those calories are terrible for you. Why? They're full of chemicals. And it's not the food, it's the chemicals that are disrupting your whole system. So I gotta be straightforward about this. If you're diabetic and you don't want to give up those things, no amount of medication, no amount of exercise, no amount of nutritional changes were going to help you, right? That's being real. But if you're willing to take the leap and make a big change in your life and live until you're 90, 100 years old and enjoy your family and playing sports and seeing the world, then do the work. That's all I got to say. It's not about, I don't want to give up this. The way we do it, you're not giving up the favorite things you like. If you like cake, you can have cake. There's no reason why not. You don't have to have cake every day. You go to a birthday party, have a slice of cake.
And not the whole cake.
Yeah. If you like a lava cake, have a lava cake. You don't have to eat the whole cake, just a slice.
Yes, yes. Well, this is something that I totally agree with you. Like we have a lot of things that we agreed on. We had meetings before and had these conversations. My approach is if the way how you lived and ate before brought you to this diagnosis, you got to change something if you want to change this diagnosis.
Yes.
If you are okay with this diagnosis, if you agree that this is what it is and I will just take the pills, then yes, the pill will take you, will keep you alive. Doctors, medications, medicine now is so advanced that they will be able to keep you alive. But what a quality of life you will get when things are not getting better, when you have extra weight, if you have your eyes not working as well as they should, if your kidneys not work the way how they should, if your legs or feet are hurting all the time. So we got to have some changes to change that from happening, from progressing, right?
Irina, I do want to comment on one thing though you said. I want people to understand you can't change your diagnosis of diabetes. If you're diagnosed diabetic, you're diabetic for the rest of your life. What you can change are the symptoms and the impact of diabetes. So you can keep your sugar levels, your blood sugar levels under control, which leaves you at a normal state. It's not to say you're not diabetic. The minute you stop doing this stuff and you decide, I'm going to go back to the old way, you're back to being diabetic.
Absolutely.
They didn't go away.
Yes.
You just started managing your lifestyle better that kept your blood sugar under control. Now, if you're pre-diabetic, that is a diagnosis that can be changed, right? Because you go from being pre-diabetic to non-diabetic, because
Yes.
pre-diabetic is saying that you have the potential to develop diabetes. You don't have it yet. And if you don't change something, it's going to come. But once you're diagnosed, it's there. Your pancreas is injured and there's no reversal. So you can't cure diabetes, but you definitely can have absolute control with little to no medication.
Definitely agreed. Maria, do you have anything to add to this? Because from the women's standpoint that
Hmm.
familiar with this menopause, this is a lot of changes going on, not
Yes,
only in your diet, but also your body that you
your
have
physiology.
little control over, right?
Yes, and why this type of lifestyle is important because we know that processed foods, sugary snacks, and all these things, these are the instigators of you becoming diabetic, pre-diabetic, getting the symptoms of pre-diabetes, and ultimately, if you're not under, they take this thing in your hand and start to organize yourself, you will become a diabetic. So why this lifestyle change is important? It not just protects you from developing diabetes. Those of you who already have it, it helps you to put it under control, and it makes you put you in a healthier state, both mentally, physically, emotionally, because we know those hormones have you haywire, and the sugar, that extra sugar, that all that processed food will eventually cause a lot of the menopausal symptoms as well to go haywire.
Yes,
So hence the reason why eating healthy, making a lifestyle change is important here, not just for the diabetes, but for your general well-being, your general health, and for developing other health issues like heart disease, like renal issues, like hypertension,
yes,
high cholesterol. So it covers a lot of other areas as well, not just the diabetes.
absolutely. Wow. All right, we are reaching the our stopping point because we're trying to keep our podcast going for 30 minutes, so we are somewhere right there. So let me ask you this. So if people who listen to our podcast today, they want to hear what your podcast is about, how do they find it? Can you Dr. Z, can you send me the link so I could put it in the comments section in our YouTube channel and in our Facebook group so people will be able to reach out and listen more?
Yes, of course. I'll put it in the chat right now.
Okay, good. Thank you. And the other thing I wanted to see how they can reach you if they want to speak with you, not just listen to your YouTube channel, but they want to speak with you somehow. They information you shared resonated with them, and they want to speak to have more of conversation with you. Okay, I see the link that you posted. Perfect. So I will also post it in the chat, not in the chat, but in the comments for this episode, for this podcast. Um, this link it will go for both of you, for Maria and for you, or it
Yes.
just okay, good.
Yes.
So
That's a support website or support email address. If you send it to us, we're always on it. So we'll check it and get back to you in a timely fashion.
absolutely. And again, you are located in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah.
What is the town, the city that you are in?
Well, we're in two different places. Maria is about 15 minutes away from me in an area called St. Joseph. And I'm in a place called Tunapuna.
Okay.
Very interesting name.
Yes, it is. Well, you never know who is listening to us. So, people,
Yes,
listeners, if you are in Trinidad and Tobago, or if you have relatives who live there, keep in mind that there are those two wonderful medical professionals who are ready to help you out with making changes to uh, take control over your health. And I wanted to make sure that people know about it because you live on the island, you don't think about healthy lifestyle because it's a party going on, right? From my friend, she said it's always a party there. And so I wanted to people know that there is also a part that you could take care of yourself so you could enjoy that party.
Of course.
Absolutely. So before we stop talking, I just wanted to remind our viewers about a couple of events that we have in our Facebook group. And this is something that we have always, every other Wednesday, we have support group meetings where we meet at 7 p.m. Eastern Time with our group members and some of the healthcare professionals who have time to join us there. And we just have a conversation outside of Facebook in person, and people can have questions and maybe complaints or maybe celebrate the results that they achieved. This is something that happens every other Wednesday. Every Thursday at 4 p.m. we have the podcast, Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360. Every last Thursday of the month, we actually have, I interview somebody who has this diagnosis and they are sharing their experiences, how they manage it, what their aha moments, and we call it diabetic warriors. The one more thing that we do every month, and it's called Diabetes 101 for Caregivers Crash Course, where our registered dietitian, Kim Kyle, and myself, we are talking about different aspects of life with diabetes that caregivers need to know because they are the ones who are staying at home while the person with diagnosis goes to visit with the doctor. Sometimes they don't remember what doctor said. Sometimes they choose don't remember what doctor said. So to make sure that caregivers are also educated on this diagnosis, we have this course, and to find information and all our recordings of that, you could go to our YouTube channel, Smart Move 360, and there are several playlists, one of which is Diabetically Speaking with Smart Move 360, but we also have there the playlist that called Diabetes 101 for Caregivers, and that's where you could find those video recordings. And well, one last thing I wanted to let everybody know that I just recently published this app. Now, this app is available to download from the Apple Store or from the Google Store, Google Play, and App Store, right? So anybody who is interested to know what new is coming up, it's fresh. It doesn't have too much information, but my recommendation to download it and get the notification open. So every time we post something new there, you will get notified about that. And with that, I am wrapping up today's meeting. Marie, it was very nice meeting with you, and I'm glad that
Same
you
here.
were able to join us today. Dr. Z, as always, fun meeting with you and talking with you and hear the information you're sharing. I mean, every time you say something that I learn, and I'm sure that our listeners can learn as well. And I would like to wish everybody a good rest of your day. I would like you health. And again, I repeat, sharing is caring. If you know someone who could benefit from listening to this podcast, please let them know. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, it's everywhere that I am posting. So with that, have a great day.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.